on the 17th, same day as the solar eclipse. Apparently, the Chinese New Year always begins on the second new moon of the year, but this year it wasn't just a new moon, it was a very important solar eclipse. 3 days later, we have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and now Raphael is guiding us so beautifully towards resurrection and the Aries equinox, which this year is happening on the 20th of March. And every year it happens on the 20th or 21st. And yes, it's the beginning of the astrological new year. So it's always important, but it is way important next year because we have this whole cascade and series of convergences of very big cycles all the way down to smaller cycles. So it isn't just an average Aries equinox. It's way, way bigger than that. So Kelly, I'd really like to start because just before that Aries equinox, as we know, we're going to have the final flyby of 3i Atlas past Jupiter. And you've spoken about this potentially changing or helping to change our biology. How big a part do you think 3i Atlas has in this resurrection for humanity?
Oh, I think it has an enormous part. We were putting all of our attention and focus on it, and then it kind of got put on the back burner a bit because it wasn't as much in our forefront of our consciousness, but it is continuing to deliver, as Raphael said, and fertilize us with these compounds, frequencies, plasma, light, love, ancient codes, and we're feeling them. And they're coming in super strong. And as we come into this spring equinox, we're going to open, as Raphael has shared with me, as we birth the avatar body, now we're going to open all of these aspects on the body, and each one is going to be a code, a light code that is set up from the beginning of the resurrection energy of the spring equinox all the way until next year. So there's going to be 7 gates, 7 light codes, and each light code is going to activate something on our actual physical body to move us into the new human and bring us into this deep sense of remembering. And so it's the first time since I've been doing the light codes that Raphael showed me the entire, from spring equinox to spring equinox, every single one, what they're going to be, where they're located energetically in our body, how they're going to be activated. And 3i Atlas is supporting that activation, that resurrection, that remembering of our divine self as we step into this galactic consciousness. And so it's intense, it's beautiful, it's profound, and sometimes a bit overwhelming too. It's big. It's really big.
Yeah, it is. It's enormous. And I also heard you talk, Kelly, or heard Raphael speak about how this is going to stimulate a remembrance of many other lifetimes where we might have been ascended masters, or we might have been a dolphin or a whale, or, a being in a very different dimension. And 3i Atlas is going to trigger those remembrances for us. So it's triggering a multi-dimensional perspective on self, isn't it? I mean, that's super exciting.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because 3i Atlas, as it passes through near Jupiter, is reawakening that ancient wisdom, that knowledge, right? And so it's perfect timing. It'll be right while we're in the resurrection code, and it's resurrecting those memories of when we lived in Lemuria. That would be the luminous body that opens. Then we'll move into the heart, and the rose will open in the heart, and we'll remember the energy of that love frequency, of the chalice well, of Glastonbury, of the druid vibration. Then it's going to move into our blood, and then we're going to remember the indigenous ways, the shamanic energies, the ancient teachings of the wisdom keepers. Then it's going to move into the healing energy, and we're going to remember the Syrian elders. We're going to remember how to heal instantly, manifest, create, heal the body, tune into our innate intelligence. It's going to open that up, and we're going to move into that frequency. Then it's going to activate the wings on our back, and so we can remember being angels. What was it like to be an angel? What was that dimension like? is that angelic energy moving through us? Can we remember that, turning on our divinity? Then it's going to awaken the halo around our head and the stars. And when it does that, we're going to move into the galactic energies. We'll remember our galactic families. We'll attune to the vibrations of the stars again. And we'll remember why we used to look to them for guidance. And we'll be able to hear and see the maps and remember that they're inside of us. So we're going to go through these 7 gateways all through the year, and we started at the spring equinox with resurrection because it's going to resurrect the life force energy, the body that we gave birth to at the winter solstice, fully starting to come online, and then we'll dive deep into each 7 ones throughout the entire year to fully move much deeper into it and completely embody it rather than just know it in our head. So we connect with the elementals. They start talking to us again. We remember the ancient teachings, the rituals. So all of this is happening right now simultaneously while chaos is erupting in the world. And it's this polarity, right? And the equinox is showing us this polarity between these 2 frequencies. And we have an opportunity at a crossroad. Where are we going to put our energy and attention? Is it into the avatar body? Is it into the memories of the divine? Is it stepping into the fullness of our being? Or are we going to get sucked into this other energy? Not that it's not happening, not that it's horrific, and not that we have great compassion for those involved. However, to support those that are going through that, we have a duty, I believe, if we're not having that actual experience in this moment, to hold this higher timeline.
Yeah, I really agree with you, Kelly, and it's something I say a lot in my videos and posts, that, if we're not in extreme circumstances, it's down to us to up our game to give support. And so, I have a daily evening meditation, 7 p.m. every evening, and you just join energetically. And I know thousands of people are joining all over the world, and they're really getting very powerful experiences to support our brothers and sisters who are in great suffering right now. So yeah, and I think it is birthing a much deeper sense of compassion in these extremes. It's just, gosh. But if I can just add to the astrology, this is going to be such an incredibly rich offering, this resurrection light code. But when 3i Atlas flies by Jupiter, Jupiter then is in Cancer, and Cancer is the sign of ancient wisdom. Well, Jupiter is wisdom, Cancer is ancient and ancestral as well. We're filming this on the 2nd of March, and tomorrow, at the total lunar eclipse, there is a dwarf planet, which I only discovered recently, which has a wonderful name of Chimney Gagua. Chimney Gagua is conjunct the moon. And Chimney Gagua is the supreme creator deity of the Muisca people, Muisca, who live in the Andes Mountains. And he represents primordial light and creation. And before Chimney Gagua, there was only darkness. So he is actually the resurrection deity who brings back the light. I mean, amazing. And then at the Aries equinox, we have the sun conjunct a dwarf planet called Manwe, and exactly square to a dwarf planet called Vada. And in Tolkien's creation myth, Manwe and Vada were husband and wife who created our world, who created our cosmos and our universe. But Vada, and she's on the world axis, squaring the sun at that Aries equinox, she, in the creation myth, was queen of the stars, because she put all the stars in the sky and the sun and the moon, but she was also queen of the elves. She was queen of the elemental realm. And so that's exact at the Aries equinox. And it just kind of, when you were talking about this online, it's kind of, Kelly, it's kind of blowing my mind. So I'm so excited because I've done several of your light codes and thoroughly enjoyed them, but I'm most excited about this one because it really feels like liftoff. It feels like, humanity rising. You could read all of that Aries energy as, yes, there's a warlike there's a war timeline, but there's also this sense of rebirth, resurrection, humanity rising up in their sovereignty. And I have never seen so many planets, so many orbiting bodies in Aries. I think there are 9 at the Aries equinox, and that's just kind of dazzling. In all my years of study, I don't think I've ever seen 9 orbiting bodies in Aries, which is about sovereignty and courage and standing in your power. And yeah, it's beautiful. So it so fits with all that with Raphael is sharing as well. And this sense of remembrance is so beautiful because we are going to remember, we're going to scrape away all that hasn't been us, essentially, and rediscover self, aren't we? As we lived in Lemuria as light beings, perhaps.
I know. I'm so excited. And we're going to, like the very first day of the light code, we're going to go to Lemuria. That's the first place. And we're going to swim with the dolphins and go into the crystal caves and remember walking the lands as these luminous beings of light. And what does that feel like? And as we connect with the resurrection energy, Jesus is going to come in too. And his energy, he was showing me that, his seed began in Lemuria. Like we think of him in this historical context, right, of what we understand. But obviously his energy body is so enormous and beautiful, along with so many other incredible avatars. And so these different avatars are going to come in and bring us to places that we have forgotten about. And because the veil is so thin that when Raphael takes us energetically, we really begin to feel into it, and the veil like lifts up over our head, and we remember. And the more of us that remember, the more luminous the body becomes, the more we remember how to communicate with the dolphins. We remember what it feels like to hold the crystals, to remember the elemental kingdom, to stop and attune to these energies. And so this is the time of the resurrection is this flame of energy that they're going to take us back into Mount Kailash where we were in the death code. And the flame, if we think of the lingam, for those who are connected at all to the Vedic traditions and Shiva and his energy, the lingam, we think of it as this beautiful contained vibration, but it goes, into the galactic, into the infinite, and then it goes as far down. It's as above, so below. It has no beginning and no end, which is the resurrection flame. The flame is contained inside, and that flame is where we could think of it as the plasmic codes. They're opening and awaken us. They're removing the veil so that we can start to remember all of these different aspects. So it's interesting that you're mentioning there's 9 planets. We have 9 days in the resurrection code. We go through the 7 gateways, but it's contained on either end. So I would love to understand from you, like, what are the 9 planets, and maybe they connect to each of the gateways that we're opening. I don't know. It would be fun to see if there's an alignment that way.
Yeah, we should explore that separately, because obviously you've got planets like the Sun, and the personal planets move through Aries at this time, but it's very unusual to have Saturn and Neptune co-present both at the same time in that sign, because they've just had this conjunction, because Neptune has a 165-year cycle. Then we've got Chiron, which is the planet of the wounded healer, healing. We've got Eris, who is on the one hand goddess of discord and chaos, but on the other hand she's the planet that stands for truth, for sovereignty, and for total inclusion. Nobody excluded, nobody on the periphery, every voice to be heard. So she stands for kind of egalitarianism and justice and humanitarianism. And then we've got Solassia, which is mermaid energy, very linked to the shimmering sunlight, moonlight on the sea. And I believe she's linked to photonic light, light language even. So, you've got this whole pile up, and, you've got Venus, etc. So you've got a wonderful cascade of planets all in Aries at the same time. But we can almost have a separate discussion about that, because there's so much in there. But what's exciting is that Raphael has said the energy is so strong that it will enable us to align with our divinity more closely and clearly than we have ever done before. in many lifetimes. And that was so beautiful as well.
So beautiful. So beautiful. And we're feeling it, you know. I know I'm feeling it. And it's encouraging us at the same time to really slow down, step back, pay attention, notice, and things perhaps that over the years that in our behaviors and ways of being that we're releasing them faster and faster and really stepping into our divine body. It's a beautiful time to be alive, even though sometimes we feel like, oh my goodness, what's happening? So much beauty is happening at the same time.
Yeah, that's really true. And we have to notice the beauty. We have to celebrate and milk that to make it a larger part of our day than, all that's happening that feels chaotic as well. And Kelly, I know you've been specially selected by Archangel Raphael to gather 144,000 people in one place to anchor this new frequency for humanity. And I know you're worried about kind of parking and portaloos, but maybe by then we'll just teleport in and we won't need the parking and the portaloos. But this is kind of your special mission, isn't it, from Raphael?
Raphael has asked me to do this, and I don't know how that's going to happen or when, but Raphael has never let me down and has always guided me in the purest way with the most integrity. So if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. And Raphael will be sure for that to happen. And of course, it will occur in some magical way that I can't think of in my little brain. Because when I think of the logistics, I'm like, oh my goodness. But it will happen. I'm sure of it. And I hope you're standing right next to me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever it takes to get with you, Kelly. I mean, that will be such a celebration for humanity, because it is all about anchoring this new energetic template, isn't it, of essentially Christ consciousness.
100%. And what's interesting is, since that was the first time in the last, I think, month that Raphael has actually said this publicly. And I think part of the reason that it didn't come forward publicly is because I have a little trepidation of how does it actually happen? But I had to let go and just allow that. And since then, I've heard other people say the same thing on other platforms. And so I'm wondering if there's something going on where people are receiving this message, and there'll be, I hope, multiple groups holding the energy all over the planet simultaneously. And maybe some will do it now and then another in another year or a few as we go. And that, all these different pods of beautiful communities that hold a specific vibration, right? Because I have my community, or our community holds a specific vibration, which is beautiful. But then there's, of course, thousands, billions of other beautiful energies and communities also holding incredible energy. And if different people are receiving the same message and then all over the planet are gathering, can you imagine what an instantaneous shift in our reality would take place if that many people were holding love and unity with the same intention and vibration of remembering our divinity all at once? It would just blow everything out.
Yeah, it would just be ignition point, wouldn't it?
It would be. So if I can be a tiny speck of that participation in any way, I would want to be of service. And I will just trust in the fact that it will get figured out.
I think it'll be bigger than a tiny speck of the European emblazoned in neon lights. So it's so interesting, because recently a good friend of mine, Rory Duff, who's a geobiologist, used to hold meditations at very strong energy points in the day before each solstice and equinox, because that's when all the Earth's energy lines came into harmony, and people were doing this all over the world, connecting on those days. And, he would say how much the Earth, the energy web of light around the Earth had been boosted at those times. So, but this is going to be even bigger because there are going to be so many people involved. So what a mission, Kelly.
What a beautiful soul that he is. And I'm so sorry to hear of his passing. And he just came into my awareness a couple days ago because I was thinking about, with Raphael, with the resurrection light coach, who's going to not only be resurrecting in the body, but along the meridian lines on the planet. We're going to line them up. So different places that get activated in the body will get activated as grid points. And I was remembering how beautiful his work was, right? And recently, in the last year or so, when I was, going all the different stone circles in England and connecting with his energy, I just want to honor him and his work and what he brought to the planet and that awareness that he sparked by being who he was. And it's just so grateful for him.
Remarkable, but I know he's already helping from the other side.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I didn't know him. I'd never spoken with him personally, but when I tuned in, he was like, okay, we got work to do.
Absolutely. No, he doesn't give up easy. No, I know he's helping from the other side because at his funeral, so many people were commenting on that and how he's coming through in meditations and dreams. I'm going really goosebumpy now. So, yeah. So, is there a particular way, Kelly, that we will start to notice this shift into the light body physically ourselves?
I think we'll start to feel, or I notice sometimes a feeling of shimmering, or a glimpse of like things out in the peripheral begin to shimmer, and an awareness of the aliveness of the water or the aliveness of a tree. And like, I was just tuning into this woman, her name is Kara Daniels. She speaks to the trees and the elementals. She's just wonderful. And just taking the time to like really listen to what they want to say. I think that when we start connecting to the elements, that's awakening the elements in the body, and the two of them are merging together, and then we start to hear more, sense more. All the senses become more and more elevated and alive and awakened, and you start to be this. You're just emanating this joyfulness, this light, and you'll begin to notice that people will be gravitated toward you, or that there's a spark in your field. And then if you look out into, if you're in a public place, I had this yesterday, I was in the airport, and people can feel it, and then it starts to ripple, just even like where you're sitting, like your laughter and your joy, and it ripples out into people next to you, and from people being down looking in their phone all serious and miserable, it starts to create this, I guess I don't want to say ripple again, but this feeling. And you notice that, and I'm not saying that, there's anything special about me or that I'm doing that, but people will start to feel that they're impacting with their energy field, just walking down the aisle in the plane or sitting down at the airport or getting that cup of coffee. It's affecting everyone. And so I want people to remember that they are valuable, and that their vibration matters, and their thought matters, and their frequency and their willingness to choose love over fear. It makes a huge difference. They're not insignificant.
Yeah, and every time you choose love over fear, or kindness, it's another little weight in the scale towards creating or manifesting new earth. We already have that energy inside us, but in manifesting it, making it real and physical. It's interesting. Listening to you about this, Kelly, because I know on my morning walks, particularly in spring, and today it was so exciting because we had some sunshine, and you can feel, or I certainly can feel it, it's almost like an electricity that's starting to come through the trees. The moss looks so much brighter, and once the spring leaves come, I'm like a kid in a candy store, because it just feels like an electrical light force, a life force coming through. And so I guess if we can give ourselves the time to tune into that, we can get some sense of what you're sharing and what Raphael has been sharing as well.
Yeah, and it seems sometimes distant, but if you just take a short period of time, then the rocks even talk to you, and you start to see a dragon in the rock, and then it starts to become more alive and animated. You're like, oh, and then it has something to say, and it seems childlike and silly, but that's what's happening we're reintroducing ourselves to a realm that we were blocked off from. The illusion was so heavy, the matrix in a sense was so strong that we were unable to connect with the natural world. And as this is lifting, this veil is disappearing, and we're becoming lighter and more awakened and remembering our divinity, we see that all along that rock was the sentient, beautiful being that happened to be whatever it was, and it has something to say and is communicating with us. And that those 5 crows that went by at the moment you had a thought actually meant something, right? And the light shimmering on the wall is telling you something, and the way that the colors are in the sunset, like everything is speaking to us. We just forgot the language.
Yeah, beautifully said, Kelly. It's like you start to live in the magic zone.
Yeah, you really do.
Magical realm. It's so beautiful. So, would you feel happy to share some channeling with us now?
Of course, yeah.
So, if we just take a few deep breaths, everyone, and allow Kelly just to settle and move into her beautiful channeling.
Delighted as always to be here and to attune to you in this now moment with this playful frequency that you are speaking of the elemental beings as they are dancing and shimmering around the planet, and so delighted and excited that you are returning to their realm with a joyful and playful and childlike frequency so that they can share with you so much beauty. And so we are here today to attune to you and all of those listening in this now moment to support you in any way that we can. And so what is it in which you are wanting to talk about?
Yes, thank you for being with us, Raphael, with your beautiful, loving wisdom. We're so grateful for you. You've talked about us moving into this period of starting to activate our light body. And this process seems to be happening from certainly new light codes arriving via the sun. But is the light also coming from within us that's birthing the light body?
It has always been inside of you, and you are just aligning, attuning to its energy and its frequency. And simultaneously, it is that from outside, from your perspective, plasmic energy that is encoded with a very beautiful ancient wisdom is hitting your nervous system and activating it. And so when both are arising and attuning and coming into calibration in unity as one, it is like fireworks going off inside, and this can create a feeling, a sensation in the body rising up the spine. It can begin to create a sensation and attunement to color appearing in different ways, beginning to hear sounds or even ringing at times within the ears as you are calibrating your vibration to these higher frequencies, beings appearing in your bedroom, attuning and connecting with you, beginning to open up energies inside, and a feeling and sensation to make sounds or to communicate in some way. And so different layers and aspects that have always been inside of you, that have been locked up in a sense, that have been in a deep slumber, are stirring and awakening, and many will feel these sensations, and it will be happening rapidly all around the planet. And so for those who perhaps are not even attuned to these vibrations and have been caught in a different experience or reality, will simultaneously have a sensation, an energy rise and move through their body, or a connection or a communication with a loved one who has passed, who is speaking to them, or a feeling to move around or to gather things or to go to specific places, wanting and knowing that there is something more than what they have perceived to now. And in that process, they may be feeling called to be somewhere or to simply turn everything off and to be in stillness. But something will arise in them, a sensation, because you are being initiated. You are stepping over a threshold. You are moving into a new way of being. And for some of you, that will be shedding and leaving behind something you've done for a very long time as you step into new shoes and begin to align with new vibrations. And for others, it will simply be taking that which have been difficult to, in a sense, get off the ground and be able to fly again and to move rapidly. But whatever it is that will be arising for any of you on an individual basis, it will be moving rapidly with great speed. And so it is of great importance that you attune to and pay attention to that spark inside that is emanating at this time, that is accelerating. And remember that that spark is truly the essence of who it is that you are.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Raphael. And will more people, therefore, experience a Kundalini awakening as we move forwards?
Absolutely. And not only will they be experiencing a traditional Kundalini awakening, at times they will experience this Kundalini awakening simultaneously with others, which was unusual in a unified way. And during certain processes, as you begin more to connect in groups and in communities, many will be activated simultaneously, not something that normally occurs in the awakening, for it has always been an individual process. However, many of you who are deeply connected and open are receiving energies and feeling them during sleep time as a sensation, of course, the uncoiling, the moving up the spine, the energy. And my emerald light is also attuning to you and moving up the spine, and then it is wrapping around to the third eye as like a cobra, as it is coming in and activating the caduceus as the staff of light, entering into the spinal cord as the masculine and the feminine is coming into full balance and the polarities are unifying around the planet. These energies will be awakening rapidly, and with this, many gifts come in and many callings and memories start flooding in as you attune to the memories of many lifetimes as in deep indigenous powerful shamanic beings, as you attuned to the swimming with the dolphins and the alignment with these energies, the speaking to the plants and returning to the original medicines, aligning with the energies of the galactic vibrations and more. So the stimulation of the Kundalini is not only opening the 7 chakras within the body up to the crown, it is extending its energy multidimensional outward into layers that have not been touched because you have not had access to them due to a heaviness within the Maya of the illusion that has caught the energetic fields in a time of separation. And so the repetitive cycles that you as a collective have repeated are now spiraling out of that repetitive cycle system into an arm in the galactic energies that releases itself from this cyclical way of being, of separation and division and artificial energies of technologies that are coming very rapidly that will, in that course, create a repetitive cycle that has been done in the past. However, there is an opening, what we would call a stargate, that has allowed a spiral of energy to exit this system and to calibrate back into the time of an original seed point in which the flooding of these memories come in, and the need for this old cycle to repeat is unwoven and unnecessary. And so this is what is occurring at this time on your planet, and that is why you will experience experience from your perception such great turmoil simultaneous to such beauty and light and magic and synchronicity and expansion. And as you choose to align with this timeline that we are speaking of, the other one will shed and fall away. And if enough of you simultaneously are able to hold that vibration, then the repeat of that cycle as a collective will not need to be repeated. However, if not enough can move into that vibration, it will repeat, but only for those who, in a sense, are needed to go through that cycle again in order to come back into a state of union and alignment with their own divinity.
Oh, that's really interesting, Raphael. So it's possible they could be a temporary split.
Yes, and it is also very possible, dependent upon the willingness and the dedication, the discipline, the care, the love of one's energy body to align with their divinity. If there is enough of you coordinated in an energetic way, the need for the cycle that is perceived as negative in the split does not even need to occur. And so you are at a tipping point. You are at a moment where this choice is potent. And so we are calling on all of you to step into your divinity, to get your gloves off, to get your hands in the dirt, should we say, to return to the elements, to open the heart, for it to crack open with compassion, to see the divine in everyone and everything, to fall to your knees, to bow to the earth, to feel the presence of the animal kingdom, to feel the presence and the beauty of the plants and the trees and one another, into the eyes of all things in its divinity, to release your judgment, the critical mind, the burdensome vibration, the victimhood energy, and to elevate. We're calling upon you to step into the shoes of your higher self, of your divine self, to release what no longer serves you, to leave it behind, to open the heart, to remember who you are. You do not need to carry this weight, this heaviness, this burden of the past. There is no need for this cycle this time to repeat. Only if you are caught in the memory of the trauma where your energy and focus is upon the wounds, shall the wounds continue to mirror themselves to you. But if you can let go of this, if you can release these energies, look toward this light, open your heart, remember your divine self. We are calling upon you and reminding you that not only are you not alone, but droves and legions of beings from other dimensional energies, from the galactics, from the elementals, from the angels, as myself. Hands are reaching up from beneath, deep within the core of the earth, and coming from above and in all directions toward you as a guiding light, showing you a pathway, opening doors of infinite possibilities, for only if you will give us a glimmer of your time to attune to our frequencies, to feel our love, to remember who you are not alone. The door is here. It has been opened. All you need to do is see it, recognize it, look in the mirror and know your own divine self. Step into your power. Embody who it is that you truly are. Walk and live and breathe and speak and share as the avatar, as the divine, as God itself, in the memory of the knowing of your own internal flame that is endless and infinite, that is truly who you are. And from that, the illusion before you, that you perceive as real begins to break apart, it begins to dissemble, and you begin to see beyond it. And when it no longer has a hold on you because you recognize that it is not true, that the truth is a spark of the light of love that resides within you and all others, then the memories flood your system. The water rises from beneath. The stars send their codes of light. The plasmic energy hits your heart and third eye, and the realms awaken from within and without, as above, so below. And from this you remember. And as these memories flood the planet, the illusion disappears, and nothing that is not in alignment with that truth can no longer deceive you to be something other than what it has been intended to do, which is to block you from your own internal flame. And so those illusions will rise as darkness, but do not see them as that, but look through them, look beyond them, look to the source of their frequency, and know that even cloaked in that darkness is a spark of change that rises from that, that is propelling you toward the light.
Yeah, it's so beautiful, Raphael. Thank you so much. I can feel my consciousness expanding just listening to you, because you've also talked about we're reconnecting to creation itself. And that was such a beautiful sentence. I got quite electrified by that, and that we're going to become masters of our own multi-dimensional experience. And so this is so different from how we've lived in linearity and contraction, isn't it? Like, it sounds like we will have a much stronger sense of our own co-creating abilities from the point of the resurrection and the Aries equinox onwards.
Yes, you will be manifesting quickly, rapidly, and you are moving at such a rapid pace that more than ever, where you're placing your energy and attention is even more important, because it will begin quickly to move into instantaneous mirrored reflection of your experience. And so we have been speaking of this for many, many, many years, and now this time is upon you. And so you have been mastering your energy, your thoughts, your words, your consciousness, and we continue to encourage you all to do this, for there is no time to lag behind in the vibrations of what it is you are not wanting, because it is that it is going to move so quickly that you will be solidifying where your energy is placed.
Yes, thank you, Raphael. And is it that at the Aries equinox we will feel a surge of cosmic energy with all of those orbiting bodies in Aries? Because there also seems to be something that's very strong in terms of an energy wave coming in April as well.
We will be anchoring in your avatar body. It is as though the strings of light, the golden threads, will be anchored in all around the planet. And so it will have grounded that which has been etheric, that which has been a concept. And so you will be embodying these vibrations. You will begin to feel very different in yourself. You will be able to sense something inside of you that has shifted within your entire being, and the way that you are and how you are perceiving all things. And so this time that you speak of this equinox energy, is a pivotal moment, as it always is. It is an energy that will propel you forward, as you will be literally drawing the avatar body. You will be potentizing it as you will return to creation itself. You will remember that you are creation.
Wow, my goodness. Thank you, Raphael. And how important is water in this whole shift? Because increasingly, I think we're all sensing that water is consciousness, and water seems to be leading this whole resurrection for humanity. We're in a feedback loop with loving and blessing our water, and equally that benefits us at the cellular level, and then as we urinate it out, that benefits the whole. Could you talk a little more on that, please?
We are very, very grateful to the water. Wow. To step up to be this conduit for your planet at this time. Your water has made a leap in consciousness itself as a body, and it is ahead of you, and it is guiding you, and it is a conduit. It is the energy that is fueling this shift and change along with the plasma. It is the water and the plasma together that is creating this shift. And your capacity, as we have said before, to merge with the water, with your consciousness, when it is in a state of gratitude, when it is in a state of love and compassion, carries patterns of energies that move around your globe, and it is the quickest and fastest way for you to make a leap into higher states of consciousness, to embody the divine that you are, to move into a state of enlightenment, to attune to the sense of oneness within, to become the God particle itself. Water is the quickest way that this can take place, because it is unifies you automatically already. It is already moving through all of you right now simultaneously. And so when you come together as a collective, holding a specific frequency, and that vibration begins to move through your body, and you begin to make a conscious choice to communicate that consciousness to the water, the flow of that energy moves from you to another, and then another, and then another, this flowing river, the river of life that leads into the collective ocean, that tiny droplet, that tear that falls from your cheek, even though it may be carrying a vibration at the time of sadness, it is an authentic frequency from within you. The saliva in your mouth, the urination that comes from you, these energies where you are excreting fluids, when they attune to your vibration that is holding a frequency of genuine authenticity, attuned to the essence of your being and your soul, this carries a code that moves into the collective system of the water and affects everyone. And so your capacity, simply by placing your hand over your water and sending a frequency into it when you are in a state, in a willingness to hold a true vibration of love and compassion, is one of the most potent and powerful and easiest and simplest and timeless thing that you can do at this time, as well as when you are showering, when you are bathing, when you are in the ocean, when you are swimming in the great waters, and you feel these vibrations. It ripples out into all living things. And so when another feels as though there is something that they cannot do to create a change at this time on a planet that they see moving in directions that perhaps they do not understand, simply blessing their water in an elevated frequency will create a very powerful effect around the planet.
Oh, that is so wonderful to hear, because we can all do that for free, all of us, through our days. Bless the water. And with respect to the water, Raphael, a slightly different question. What is the direct effect of the planetary patterns and movements on the water held within our bodies as we are liquid crystals?
It has an enormous mirrored effect. And so at times you will notice that there will be great flooding taking place. But this is the water supporting your light bodies. This is flooding you as a mirror within the systems of your body, where it is healing, it is clearing, it is cleansing denser vibrations within your system. Because whatever is happening on your planet is also happening simultaneously in your body. Whatever is happening in the stars is simultaneously happening within your body. The map of all the grid systems on the planet is simultaneously also happening within your body. Examples of all of this you can continue to go on about. And so when you see these things occurring on the planet, begin to notice how they are affecting and how you can attune to them. And the earth, with its intelligence, although at times it can feel destructive in the storms or the changes of what is occurring, it is happening for you, and it is doing it as a mirror of healing, and that same healing is taking place on a deep cellular level within your own energetic body. And so the water, when it is rising, it is healing, it is clearing, it is flowing, it is opening, it is purifying, and it is purposeful.
Thank you. Thank you. And presumably, the more we can stay as individuals in heart coherence, the more it will benefit the structure and the quality of the water in our bodies, and it will also affect how the planetary movements manifest in our lives.
Of course. And as you attune to the toric field and you begin to bring awareness to its movement, its spin, its coherence, and then when you are with another, you come into coherence with them. All of this has a profound effect on many different levels, not only within your own energetic body, but for the planet. And so we want to remind all of you not to minimize your participation, your willingness to move into a state of discipline at this time around taking these small steps to bring prayerfulness, mindfulness, stillness, meditation, light, coherence, attunement, connection with self, others, and all living organisms has an enormous impact on the planet. And you are beginning to reach a critical mass in which you will start to see at a rapid pace these changes happening inside of you and with those around you. And you will begin to come together in an understanding, in a deep mutual respect and memory as you come into collective communities and connections with each other, with song, with drum, with presence, in attunement with the stars and the earth within your own systems. And with that, you will see a flooding of light not only move through your planet, but this will have a rippling effect through all universes.
Wow, so this whole evolutionary process that's happening so rapidly is right across the galaxy.
Yes, you are not isolated in this, for how could you be? And when we speak of you receiving support, if only you could see the support. If only you could see your star brothers and sisters by your side. If only you could feel my feathers across your cheek, my light, my green healing ray. If only you could know us and sense us. It's a coming home. We cannot wait for you to perceive us completely and fully, for the full veil to be lifted, for us to hold you in our arms. It'll be a homecoming, a joyful celebration, a dance of life, a reawakening, a time in which the shackles that have blanketed your planet are uncuffed, in which the flow of light returns, in which the color comes back into everything, in which the shimmering and memory of the beauty of everything around you and the life inside of it is aware. as if you are living in a world in which you see again for the first time, and we are right there with you. Often you speak of those in other dimensions, far in distant lands, but we stand before you, amongst you, with you, inside you, above you, below you, around you, within you. The dimensions, they are not separate from you, but they are nestled inside your cells, inside your being. They are ringing out bells of joy right now, beckoning you to listen, to hear them, to act upon them. We are everywhere. We are not somewhere far away. Often you think of us landing from a ship and appearing, coming down a railway to say hello and to meet you. We are already here. We have been here for a long time. We are guiding. We are loving you. And as the veil thins and as it is lifted, you shall feel us, sense us, know us. Do not be afraid. Delve into us, communicate, play with us. We are in the trees and in the wind. We are in the clouds and in the water. We are in your cells. We are in the baby. We are in the old woman falling to sleep at the time of her death and the new one being born. We are inside the lion and the zebra and the whale and the elephant. We are everywhere and within you, and you will soon see us, and you will remember that you and I are one in the same.
Beautiful, Raphael. This has been absolutely extraordinary. Is there any final message you have for humanity as we enter this whole phase of rebirth and resurrection that is, I think, so unique for us?
Oh, notice the resurrection as the spring is appearing for many. Notice the crocuses that are coming. How did it appear from beneath the snow? Where did it rise from? Who was guiding it? What is the design of this? This is the resurrection flame. And as you can sit with something budding as this time of the spring arises, sit with it each day for days on end. Perhaps give yourself permission, even 7 to 10 to 21, and watch that same flower or that same bud on the tree or that stalk of corn through the summer grow, and see the beauty, the energy, the potency, the intelligence inside, and how it moves, how it resurrects, how it comes alive. That same vibration, that resurrection energy, it lives, it resides in you. It is you now that are resurrecting, coming alive, birthing, moving through the chrysalis. Your wings are wide. It is time to fly. Know that you are love. And with that, we send to you all of our love from within and without, as above, so below. Many blessings and good day.
That was exquisite, Kelly. I don't know how much of it you heard, but it was really exquisite. It was incredibly inspiring and so exciting to have this kind of this tableau of what we have in front of us to come, that is so multidimensional and just so divine in a way that we've never fully lived it. And it is just, I know there's some terrible things going on in the world right now, but it is so exciting to be here at these times and to think that every single one of us, even just by blessing our water, can make a difference. Even just that every day. If you do nothing else, you're making a difference. You're helping to bring more love into the world. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Yesterday I was flying home on a plane, and when you see everything, you feel so insignificant, right? Because all the little cars going, and so, but then when you see it as one organism, and you realize that we are all cells in one collective body, and that we affect the whole body, the whole planet. And so just those little things. It doesn't have to be huge.
And see the joy, listen to the bird song, watch the flowers appear, as you say, Kelly, and just take those magic moments that are almost childlike and in wonder that you had as a child. Think, oh, that's just beautiful. That is so wonderful, and it's magical, and it's miraculous. See with beginner's eyes, Buddhist things. So, and that brings this kind of fresh, magical energy, I think, to just a regular day-to-day experience where you think, oh, yeah, that's a tree, that's a rose, that's a whatever. Really see with new eyes, because I think the level of experience we're going to have is beyond anything we've ever known, in the way Raphael describes it. And we are all contributors and creators and participants in that, every single one of us. So never think that you don't matter.
Yeah, Raphael says it's time to play in the magic again.
Yeah.
We're literally getting like our scepter and our crown, like we're going to play in the magic and remember what that feels like, innocent perception and sweetness. So it's going to be a sweet, beautiful year if we choose to align with that vibration, with the elementals, with the magic, with the plants, with the angels and the star beings, all of it. And so, yeah.
And that shifts the entire collective to help the people who are suffering to have less suffering, and to collapse the war and the chaos. It'll collapse faster if more of us focus on these beautiful things that Kelly and Raphael have been sharing today.
Exactly. It's not that we're denying it's happening. It's not spiritual bypassing. It's we're doing the work in the way that we can.
Yeah. Kelly, I am so happy you are on the earth right now. I'm so happy you are such a good friend, such a loving friend. And, we are all blessed to have you here with all of your supreme guidance from Raphael.